Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Tomb Kings led by Charix and Katep facing off against the Greenskins, who shall be helmed by Lord Chicken, if I have the name correct. And here we are on one of our newer maps, the Crystal Lake, certainly a very cool one. Now, as far as the Tomb Kings build goes, it's going to be pretty chaff-centric in the front line. Obviously, the Greenskin Wa and Savage Orcs, Orc Boys, Goblins, they'll be hitting their skeletons very, very hard. So throwing forward a very cheap unit that has reasonably high melee defense for the cost is a good idea. You don't want to be absorbing charges on your Nehekar warriors and like your Tomb Guard and things like that. So send the spears up in the front, let them get massacred, and get your value with other things. It's basically how Tomb Kings play in tabletop as well. You have like big blobs of skeletons, and your goodies in the back, like your Shopti Grapos, your Wizards, and your Catapults do a lot of the heavy lifting. But yeah, so it is going to be the Skeleton Spears in the front, and a couple of units of Shopti Grapos. Now, the reason why you bring these is because they're very good against Orc Boar Boys. And Orc Boar Boys are reasonably common in this matchup, whether it's the big uns or sometimes you'll see the regular variant as well. But having these guys to kill the Orc Boar Boys, Trolls, Squigs, and a number of other targets is very, very nice. One of them is going to be Chosen of the Gods as well, which is much better against infantry. In the backfield, it is going to be the Nehekar Warriors, including the Kepler Guards. We do have Kepler Guard, the Arwar Tomb Guard back here, and these guys are amazing against Greenskins. As long as they don't get, just hard on charge by a Squigs or some heavy cavalry, for example, they can do nasty work. Magic damage circumvents a lot of the physical resist on Savage Orc units, and in general, they're just solid. They have regeneration, a very, very cool piece. But that is going to be it for Charix. And on the other side, we do have Lord Chicken, and he's going to be coming in with a very classic Greenskin Wa. Greenskins are pretty meta these days, easily a top 3 faction, and they're here to party. In my experience, this matchup has been pretty Greenskin favored, but Charix is, he's got a very interesting playstyle. Like, he can make matchups work that don't normally work. There's not too many players, even like super elite players, which he is included in, that can do that. But he finds a way to make, normally most people would avoid this matchup like the plague from the Tomb King's perspective. But, yeah, I mean, he's made it work in the past. We're going to see if he can make it work today. It's from a pretty competitive tournament for sure. So we got Goblins here, Orc Boys, Savage Orc Air Boys in the secondary line. Nothing out of the ordinary, just like a huge Wa with some Squigs and Savage Orcs in the bushes here. More Squig herds being called in, and it is going to be the Night Goblin War Boss. So you put this bad boy on foot. He's extra sneaky, right? So he's going to be moving around, trying to sneak up on your opponent and get the fermented fungi. So that is pretty brutal. If you can rampage, like if he rampages these Shopti Grapos right here, that could potentially be, 1,000 value right out of the gates. They'll charge in and get shot by archers, charged by Squigs. And it looks like that's going to be the play here from Lord Chicken. I think that's what it's going to be. Shopti Grapos, though, ripping cost-effective shots, and one unit of Savage Orc Air Boys is going to get wrecked. Shopti Grapos are probably my favorite unit in the tabletop game as well. I run a Tomb King's army and run 6 of them, 2 units of 3. Very, very fun. They hit like trucks, and yeah, they're super cool looking too. So, Night Goblin War Boss trying to catch him. Fermented Fungi does have relatively short range, 75 range. You have to be pretty close to him. And it looks like Charix does kind of smell the sneaky schemes and is able to get away from that. And no rampages quite yet. But it will come soon, I would imagine. So this is another big staple of the matchup, is the Screaming Meme Catapult. These things do excellent damage against lightly armored troopers, and even against armor as well. But the big thing against the Greenskins is it has a leadership debuff. So when you're able to shoot into the Orc Boys, whose base leadership isn't the best anyways, especially once they start taking some damage, you're able to break massive positions of Greenskin units. So Shopti's going to pull back, and the Greenskin Wa has sounded the Wa horn, so the boys going to be coming out of the trees and looking to crump some skeletons, and I suppose that's fun for them. It's kind of like, getting to fight like training dummies or something. You got these, I don't know. I wonder if the orcs have like a preference. The orcs probably like to fight things that like to fight as much as them. So I would imagine the orcs probably get the most joy when they're fighting against like, what would be like Khorne, right? I don't know. I feel like that would how it would go, but I could be wrong. Some of you guys who are really into lore can perhaps let me know. But objective number 1 is going to be taken by the Greenskins. Middle objective likely going to be taken by the Greenskins as well. And the Tomb King's just going to set up their ranks and, bombard the Greenskins for as long as they possibly can with catapults before the fighting starts. And now we get the Eyes of the Desert called in. A very good choice, because obviously what do the Greenskins want to do? They're going to see 2 catapults here. We're probably going to see some mobility called in to try and dive this. And having a sneaky backfield defender, these sneaky snakes, is very good. So that's going to be the game plan. Shopti Grapos shooting into the Savage Orc Air Boys, but now going to be switching on to the Squigs. If you can nail the Squigs and force them to rampage into your spears, that's going to be incredibly cost effective. So I suspect that's going to be the game plan here. In the meantime, DJ Katep going to be standing here looking cool with his old pimp cane. And let's talk about him a little bit. So he is going to be doing, he's got Sandstorm and Usirians. And does he have the Lich Staff? He does. So every single time he casts a spell, it's going to be adding to the cooldowns of the War Boss and the Wizards and anything that really has an activated ability. Oh, the first Darude Sandstorm's going to be going through, and it does tear through some of the Orc Boys, dragging some of them to the depths of the underworld, I suppose. That's actually a really cool rule from Tabletop. The Necrosphinx has a rule where before the game starts, you declare a target for him to try and drag to the underworld with him. It has to be a character, but it's a really, really fun flavor. Cool if we had something like that in the game. Now, inevitably, we do see the Orc Boar Boys trying to get into the backfield, right? Because on paper, these guys are extremely dominant against any of the Tomb King's cavalry, but Tomb Kings are definitely a combined arms faction. So we see the Ushapti Great Bow shooting them. We see magic being used. Ooh, Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance slowing their speed down to 39. Then they're getting slapped by great bows, and the catapults are going to be turning about face to take shots at them as well. I really like that tech, and yeah, they're not going to make it super far. At this current state of health, they might even actually lose against the Nehekara horsemen that are coming out. And probably, yeah, with the catapults bombarding them, their leadership shaken, they're at 20. And yeah, really, really good reaction there by Charix. On the flank side, we got more pigs coming in. It is going to be more Orc Warboy Biggins. And the Sepulchral Stalkers going to be lining up their laser beam eyes, but unfortunately, the line of sight, nope, they're able to get a couple shots, and the piggies do get roasted by the Sepulchral Stalkers. The pigs are still going to get in, squealing all the way, baby. Here they come, and they might be able to get a catapult down. As far as defenses go, we do see another Nehekara horseman coming out, but the pigs are going to get the charge with the full wah, baby. They get in there and ram through that Screaming Skull catapult, almost one-shotting it. Yeah, a lot of damage there. As far as the rest of the battlefield goes, it's pretty hotly contested. We see the Tomb Kings up a little bit on value, but the Greenskins are dominating the objective, so very scary. And a good rear charge here by Chicken. He's able to get around the back and just crush a lot of these Tomb Kings units. Could lead to some crumbling as well. Yes, Skeleton Spears are crumbling, Skeleton Warriors are crumbling. Kotep's trying to provide a little bit of support, give the boys some milk, but overall that's a good fight for the Greenskins. Now in the center though, Nehekara Warriors and Kepler Guard are doing quite nice, but the Greenskin player has recognized the threat, and he has all his missiles shooting into the Kepler Guard, which is very, very good. Kepler Guard do, of course, have regeneration, so if they're able to kind of be left to their own devices, they should be able to heal through that damage, but we will see. Now, a lot of the value for the Tomb Kings has been in the backfield. We do see the second Orc Boar Boy being chased down, and wow, that catapult stabilizing is really big. And obviously, Lord Chicken here knows how important it is to get around the back and shut down these catapults. So another one's going to be coming in, but I would like to see some Greenskin infantry trying to push up as well, maybe some Savage Orcs being given a path, but yeah, it ain't easy. Charix is defending very, very well. He's got his horsemen kind of screening. He's got layers of Ushapti Great Bows here, ripping excellent shots. And Ushapti Great Bows are really good against cavalry units. Chosen of the Gods are just also quite excellent against... Chosen of the Gods aren't as preferable against like a single entity, but against like a cav unit or infantry, they're extremely good. Probably one of the best units on the roster. I'm trying to think, yeah, if I were thinking about Tomb Kings, I would say Ushapti Great Bows are probably the best unit on the roster. If I had to think about it, overall, yeah, if we're just not including like lords and heroes, we're just talking about units, probably the Great Bows. So yeah, they're able to get some nice shots, and another piggy unit does get routed, but the Greenskins are just stalwart on the objectives. And as far as the points go, you can see it's a pretty massive lead here for the Greenskins, although the Tomb Kings are slightly resurgent here. We see some chariots coming through the high ground, which is very cool. Skeleton Horsemen battling Squig should be pretty good. And Tomb Kings chariots, if you get like the right charge angle, they can do some good damage, but they require a little bit of finesse. They're not like the mouth-breathing Kislev chariots that don't really require any micro, right? You're going to have to maneuver them very, very well. I can't wait for Kislev to get balanced because they're such a cool faction. It's a shame they're just so freaking busted. In our season finals, which may have already happened, I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, but we had to ban Kislev just because they're so stupidly OP. They literally have no bad matchups in domination. They're just super oppressive. And I feel like even in land battle, they're really stupid as well. But looking at the side point here, we do see objective number 3. Tomb Kings finally wrestled that one. So they were kind of losing this position, but all the horsemen that were dedicated to defending the backfield were rerouted over towards objective 3, and they got that. Push back the Squig herds, push back the Savage Orc Arrow Boys, and the Tomb Kings are now going to get on the board a little bit, and it does look like they are pulling a respectable value lead of 6.2 against 4.4, and with the passive healing the Tomb Kings have from the Realm of Souls and the Lore of Nehekara, they're probably actually well ahead of the Greenskins. Granted, the Greenskins do have a lot on the objective still wrestling. We got this little Chad Night Goblin Warboss here. What kind of a weapon does he have? He's got like a little spear and a shield, so it's like a thrusting spear, not like a halberd or anything like that. So yeah, he's not going to kill things super quickly, but if something does rampage near him, like a chariot, he could drag it to its doom. More boar boys being called in. Looking at the points, we do see the Greenskins up pretty considerably. Very, very massive, but I don't see them having too many chances of getting Objective 3 back in the near future. Ushapti Great Bows still shooting. One of them was unsummoned. And now we do see Charix calling in some Nehekara warriors on the other side. With some horsemen going to be intercepting the little goblins, getting them out of the way. And yeah, Greenskins are going to have to fight tooth and nail. They do have a really good points lead, though. So this game is still very, very hotly contested. I think it could actually go either way. The points difference is... not the points difference, but the score difference in terms of just like raw value gained is pretty Tomb King's favorite. I would say maybe even 3,000 against 5,000, but Greenskins have a weird way of grinding well. I don't know what it is, but they just kind of keep going and keep going. They're kind of like the Energizer Bunnies. I've had games where I'm up in value against them, and I'm like, wait, why are the Greenskins not completely obliterated? It's weird because they're a low leadership faction, but I just feel it's a lot of the quality. And I know it seems weird saying like they have high quality units because they don't really, but they're cost effective, right? Like Orc War Boys, Squigs, even their chaff units are pretty cost effective. And like if Tomb King's units, Tomb Kings, what happens in this matchup is they run out of ammo on their catapults and their great bows, and then suddenly they're left with like subpar infantry trying to fight the Greenskins. But if Charx can kind of ration his ammunition and make sure to get those really good focus fires, he might be okay. And like just like that, look, the Greenskin Rabble has come back and gotten this objective. I thought he would be able to hold that one for a while, but he's able to get that one back. We see the catapult shoot again. Easily going to rout off these Savage Orcs. 1 or 2 more shots here. Negative 15. And does shoot into the Orc War Boys here, who do manage to get a charge into the Ushabti. Ushabti, though, going to be supported by the Legions of Nahakara as he narrows incantation to protection going on the Horsemen. And Nahakara Horsemen has surprisingly high weapon strength. A good change for the Greenskins, I think, would be to nerf the armor of Orc Warboy Biggins. I don't think they should have as much armor as like heavy cavalry from like Kislev, for example, right? Like Orc Warboys should have like 50 armor, not 85. That was a weird change in Warhammer 2 they did with the Greenskin update. Doesn't really make sense to me because the Greenskins in tabletop are pretty lightly armored in general, except for like, you know, the Black Orcs and things like that. But yeah, I don't like Warboy Biggins having that much armor. I think if you just nullified their armor down to 50, they would be much more balanced and maybe give like Squig herds a slight cost increase, and I think you're golden from there. I think it's going to be fine. With Syrians going down once again, damage and speed debuff, so a multitude of purposes here. As far as the low ground objective, the Tomb King's artillery is still shooting quite well, but it looks like some haggard Savage Orcs did return from the rally, and they were able to tear apart that catapult. Very, very unfortunate there for the Tomb Kings to lose one of their catapults, which could have been unsummoned, giving a nice refund, but nonetheless, the gap is kind of being closed a little bit by the Greenskins. Nahakar Horsemen here should defeat these Squig herds, maybe just based on leadership. We do see some Skeleton Spearmen and Tomb Guard making their way up to the points here, although this Tomb Guard did have to turn around to deal with those Savage Orcs, which is unfortunate for them. The Gobbo's fighting pretty well on the points. We got Orc Biggins in here with Spider to Bad Moon. Very, very nice play here by Lord Chicken. And those guys are going to hit hard with plus 16 bonus versus large in conjunction with just like a raw damage buff. You can see they're able to do some really good work against the Sepulchral Stalkers, tearing apart the Horsemen. And the Greenskins are really threatening this objective. So you can see now that the firing power of the Tomb Kings has gone offline a little bit. It's still there, but like there's no Shopti Great Bows on the field anymore. And the Catapult, there's only one of them. The fighting becomes a little bit more pitched, right? The Greenskins start to creep back in value, 8.9 against 7.3. Getting very, very dodgy indeed. So objective 1, though, owned by Tomb King, Spears, and just kind of chaff units holding on to the point. Another Sepulchral Stalker has been called in. They're Laser Beam Eyes, and there is going to be a new Syrians going down likely on these. And yeah, so I really like that combo. It's kind of a cool usage. I'm taking some notes, man. Charik's doing some great work here with the Tomb Kings, one of my favorite factions for sure. But yeah, we see the Orc Warboy slowed down to 53 speed, so they're pretty damn slow, basically the speed of like Exalted Demonettes at this point. Another Boar Boy is going to be crashing into the back of the Sepulchral Stalkers. Yep, so here they come, and Sepulchral Stalkers are going to eat that charge. It's going to take some casualties for sure, but overall the Sepulchral Stalkers do have halberds. They should be able to turn around and defeat these Orc Boar Boys, but yeah, still a pretty cost-effective engagement for the Greenskins. And the value is really close now, 9.4 against 8.3. We do see a massive points lead here for the forces of the Greenskins, but it is a razor close game overall. I mean, both players are playing extremely well. Lord Chicken had a rough start against the Tomb Kings, getting blasted on many angles, but he was able to scrap back, stayed calm under pressure, and re-rallied his forces. Curse of the Bad Moon going down. Dynasty Curse on the Kepler Guard. Kepler Guard being an absolute beast of a unit. They're going to be able to probably cut through the remnants of these Orc Biggins, although there are 76 of them. Kepler Guard, how many models are we rocking here? Only 30, so yeah, they probably end up losing that fight because of the Goblin Boss. But reinforcements have arrived from the tombs. We have the Tomb Guard coming out, Nahakar Warriors, side point being guarded by a spear unit, but there's going to be a single Orc Boy, which will dominate the Skeleton Spearmen, so it's kind of scary, right? Because the Tomb Kings are then going to have to allocate more resources here. A little bit of housekeeping from the Greenskins definitely could, you know, send all these units to battle the Spearmen or unsummon them, get them back in the pool, but obviously there's a whole lot going on here. This is a very, very tense game. On the high ground, objective 1, we do have Nahakar Warriors holding on to that point. Sepulchral Stalker is going to be shooting their Laser Beam Eyes, but they do eat a charge from the Orc Boys, which is not what they want to be doing. It's such a shame, too. I know I talk about tabletop a lot nowadays. I've been playing a ton. Sepulchral Stalkers are just awful in the tabletop game. It's a shame, because they're, like, in my opinion, the coolest looking unit on the Tomb Kings roster. One of them. I mean, look at that animation. Look at that. How cool is that? Got him up on the spear, and just, oh, they're so bad. Just like these underground snake serpents with halberds and laser beams from their eyes. What's not to love, man? So triple cap from the Tomb Kings. Charix is trying to close this game out, but the Greenskins, are kind of resurgent. They're only down by 800, but again, with value taken into account, we talked about this earlier, but only being down by 800 is very doable for the Greenskins. The Orc Boys probably going to be crumping these Skeleton Spears. Charix will most likely lose his objective. He does have the Ushopti Great Bows. The Chosen of the Gods have been called in once again from the depths, and they are going to be ripping shots on the Savage Orc Boar Boys. See, these guys hit really hard, though, and they have a good charge bonus of 62. If they're able to find an infantry unit, man, they can give them the dirty. And if they got on top of the Ushopti Great Bows, like uncontested, they would do good work. So charging into the back of the Skeleton Spears, not a bad idea. Arguably, I think a bit of a misplay. I think shutting down the Chosen of the Gods would have been enough. Would have been a better play. You probably get a kill there or bring them down to at least half health as they retreat. But I mean, he is going to get the objective way quicker. And again, he's very close to winning on points. He's about to reach 1,200, give or take, assuming he can get back on the board here. So, both were decent ideas. So this objective starts to flip to the Greenskins. And now we got the Savage Orc Boar Boys getting roasted pretty hard by the Chosen of the Gods, taking huge casualties. The leadership certainly not great on those squealing pigs. And as far as the middle point goes, we do have the Orc Biggins battling it out against the Nakar Warriors and DJ Kotep. Kotep's just straight up taking him to the Techno Festival, man. They even call it that anymore? Well, there's a bunch of names. You got like Techno and EDM and all these sub. And back in my day, back in the 90s, we used to just call it Techno music. Although I suppose there was probably subgenres back then as well. I'm just a bit of an idiot. So, Sneaky Stabbin' and Spider to Bad Moon down on the Orc Biggins. Really nice buff. 62 melee attack, 56 weapon strength. I mean, that is a huge amount of damage here. And DJ Kotep is kind of in the danger zone a little bit. He's taking a ton of damage. I mean, he's not a combat character. He's got relatively low melee defense. I mean, I guess 38 isn't bad for a wizard, but yeah, he's squishy. 40 armor, very low HP. Could potentially die here if Charix isn't careful, and that is brutal. And I learned that the first time the other night. In tabletop, when your Tomb King's Hierophant or your Caster Lord dies, basically what happens is your entire army has to take crumbling checks every single turn. It's brutal because the magic animus of the army starts to like dissipate. So it's very well reflected in this game too, because the stats of course get tanked by the bad leadership. And the little goblin might be trying to get a comeback here for the Greenskins. The war boss taking down the ancient Lich Priest. Kotep's certainly going to be a little bit embarrassed. But yeah, he's for sure going to go down. He's just fighting it. He's not even trying to get away now. 179, 140. Now the Greenskins are certainly going to be back on the menu. But the question is, are they going to be able to get the objectives back in time? There's a lot of undead on the battlefield. They've had a lot of favorable trades. The Chosen of the Gods are back online. We do also have Skeleton Chariots coming to clear out the infantry that are on their way back in. Oh my god, look at the damage! Those Orc Boar Boy Biggins, those are anti-large cavalry. I would love if my Empire Knights did that. And now they're going to run on into the Nakar Horsemen here and should be getting a pretty decent little trade. We'll have to see. Sepulchral Stalkers sitting at 11 models trying to shoot their laser beam eyes, but they could pile in maybe 2v1 here, get the Nakar Horsemen and the Stalkers, and it looks like that is going to be the case. Boar Boys they lose a lot of their prowess in sustained combat. Their combat stats are not the best, obviously very bolstered by their anti-large bonus. The Wa going down once again, ladies and gentlemen, as Charix has officially passed the Greenskins in points. But Kotep is down for the count. The Greenskins going to be scrapping desperately to get on the board here. They really need to get some objectives here. We do see the high ground, Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Warriors, so not going to be a whole lot of capture weight. One Savage Orc is more capture weight than both these units. These are 2 apiece. And here comes more Horsemen. Horsemen will be 4 capture weight, so maybe they can keep the Greenskins from getting this for a moment. No, looks like Charix is going to be abandoning ship, which is smart. And the Goblin Boss actually gets routed too. So if he can get killed, if Charix is able to kind of snipe him, that would be certainly returning the favor in terms of the leadership penalty. But I just don't know if there's going to be enough time. Oh, this is a little bit of a close fight down here. Man, those Boar Boys were absolute chads. They ended up fighting off those Sepulchral Stalkers, some infantry, and also the Nakar Horsemen that piled in to fight them 3v1. Middle objective will probably be held reasonably well. Call-ins for the players are going to be Screaming Skull Catapults to try and knock them off the objective. For the Greenskins, they're obviously in a bit of a desperation situation, so calling in infantry and capture weight is going to be their play. Whereas Charix has a little bit of extra time. So Savage Orc Boar Boys, man, these things here, is there some secret forbidden tech here? They've been trading really well this game into a multitude of targets. And Savage Orc Boar Boy is probably not terribly expensive, and that's going to be GG. So it looks like the Greenskins do tap out there. He was at 1,400 points and had his opponent double capped, so there was a lot of undead left. There's pretty much no way that the Greenskins could come back there, but that was a very good back and forth game. Really cool showcase of Tomb Kings as well, because I've always struggled in that matchup. One of the tournaments I actually did win earlier in the season was I was using the Greenskins in the grand finals against Tomb Kings against a player who I consider to be better than myself. And we were still able to win just because I felt the matchup was so Greenskin favored. But I think on a bigger map, it becomes more even. Like if the map's bigger, Catapults and Great Bows can do their work. I think it becomes a little bit better. Probably still Greenskin favored in my opinion, but more like 55-45 instead of 60-40 kind of thing, right? But on the map like Itza, for example, where the Greenskins can close the distance and really crump you pretty good fast, it gets very scary. But also, this is really very much the Greenskin meta, like super wide, right? And they still have a lot of dynamic ways to play. Like Greenskins could even consider using some artillery if they wanted to. But yeah, I guess against Tomb Kings, you could do Doom Divers, right? Against Ushapti Great Bows. Maybe there's like some weird tech out there. Who knows? I'm excited to give it a try. Anyways, guys, take care of yourselves. Well played to Charix and Lord Chicken here. That was a lot of fun. We'll see you guys around, and that is going to be it for tonight.